we have a treat for you. We have Shafiq going to join us up on stage here. Um, as usual, we have planned to talk about a lot, but he's not going to follow any of our directions. Um, he's going to end up talking about whatever interests him, which is exactly good news is he's an interesting guy, so lots interests him. But the fun we're going to have with Shafiq on stage is basically as a keynote, talking about where we sit today in a very, very realistic way. And so a lot of my bluntness I learned from Shafiq at different places. If you're truthful and honest, innovation comes out of it. But if you pretend that things are working and they're not, then it becomes tough. So Shafiq, why don't you join us on stage? You already mic'd up, or you haven't? You need a.
I got it. Thanks for clarifying.
so Shafiq, yeah, please.
So everybody, please don't ask any questions. But if you, I was not going to do this, but if you have an iPhone or a regular part, type the word crust, CRUST, FARIANISM, Crustafernism. January, February, a bunch of AI people got to, not AI bots got together and they created their own society. Humans are not allowed. And they call Crusta because it's like a crab, Crustafernism. It's a group of people, Mortlock, they got together. But I was not going to talk about it. I just want you to look at it and freak out, okay?
Sorry, we missed out on mission accomplished.
Do you want the spelling?
Please, yeah.
Crust, CRUST, FARIANISM.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little bit of context. Is that so? There are a few keywords you can look up. One is in December, there was a guy. He's in I think it's Switzerland in Europe somewhere. Created this open source project called Claudbot, CLAWDBOT. And so the crustacean theme comes from the fact that it was a claw for a crab. So that's where the nomenclature comes from. But the important part, especially for anybody who wants to know where enterprise AI is going to be by the end of this decade, play with Claudbot, which is what about 2 weeks ago, they had some trademark problems. So it became Moltbot, which had a problem because nobody could pronounce it or search for it. So now it's just called OpenClaw.
Yeah.
So you can look up OpenClaw,
Yeah.
Moltbot, or Claudbot. And the thing that Shafiq is talking about is this, it's called Moltbook, which is like Facebook, except for these agents where no humans are allowed to join, but the agents are there, and they've created their own little play area, and it is a little freakish, but that's where enterprise AI is going to be by the end of this decade. As usual, Shafiq's taking us to the right place.
And for transparency purposes, I'm an AI bot somewhere.
That's right. He's not really here. He's a projection. So Shafiq, give us your background. Tell us where you are today and what you're working on.
So I'm 5'4" tall. I have 3 children, Sophia, Sarah, and Adam. None of them are doctors, so I'm upset about it. I'm not supposed to say anything. Other than that, I'm advising Tufts Medicine, where I've worked for 5.5 years. And what am I working on? Which everybody else is, which is making and understanding different types of AI tools. And we'll talk about agentic AI, which is otherwise I call it a butler, because and then working towards the world. Again, you can look it up, autotelic AI, AUTOTELIC. That means, have you seen that movie in which they say, you complete me? So in the world of AI, when AI is incomplete, it goes and looks for it, makes itself complete by itself. In 3 years from today, from regular AI, from agentic AI, we'll move to autotelic AI. That is not the topic of this discussion. I just want you to know that so you all freak out. And then from there, we will go.
Yeah, so the topic of this discussion is this idea of bridging where we were in the past, where we had little tech, to now we have tons of it and almost like an abundance of tech. So let's start there, Shafiq, tell us what you see and you've been leading this charge for so long and been years ahead of everybody. But even for you, it's hard to stay ahead of where the things are moving so fast. So based on what you're seeing at the CIO and senior C-suite level, what are you guys terrified about in this era of abundance of technology? But where do you see very easy, low-hanging fruit is the wrong word, but easier things to grasp and begin to implement for staff and colleagues within hospitals so that they can properly introduce the technology into the environment safely?
Yeah, I was going to read a statement that whatever I say cannot be used against me. Whatever I'm saying is so. I don't want you to read that. You'll get mad at me. So thank you, Shahid. All jokes aside, you're all learned people. I can't teach you anything, but I can share with you my mistakes and things like that. So number one thing is that what's happening is that in my world that I live in and in the world that I want to go to, people want efficiency. People want productivity, and people want to make money. And then what people want that one person that used to do little job, they want them to do more jobs. What that means is that how do we make our workers much more productive? That is the push. And technology, like Shahid said in the morning, I was here and I listened to Lisa and other people talking. By the way, Lisa is a very smart person and smarter than me. She's sitting over there. So any questions, please ask her, not me. Uh, what I'm trying to tell you is that technology was not there and it has become better. So like when I said to Shahid on talking that I like Claude, CLAUD, Claude Health, because it's HIPAA compliant. We live in a regulated industry. Then ChatGPT announced 5.6. They also say we are also HIPAA compliant, Shafiq. I don't know, they heard me on the phone or something, but they found that out. So technology is changing every day, becoming better, but it was not there. So I'm going to give you an example and I'll answer that question in a different way. He asked me about my family. He did not. I made that up because I wanted to say these things. I have 3 kids. Sarah is the eldest. Sophie and Adam are twins. They are 20 years old. Sarah is 22. They should all have been doctors. My uncle was a doctor. His father was a doctor. I'm a doctor. It didn't happen, right? Even though I trained them, like you do machine learning, you train them. In my home, we train them. But for them to become better human beings and become doctors. My eldest one went to University of Madison, Wisconsin as a biomedical engineer. She started taking Latin. I'm like, what? My wife said, don't say a single word. Then she said, I'll take biology. I'm like, yes. Guess what happened? She wants to be a dentist. So she's interviewing at dental schools, right? And she has a A in Latin. I don't know why she got the Latin, but then she told me because she could get A and she could make money. My other 2 children decided, the youngest decided she will leave the house and go as far away as she can. She's in Hawaii. That's why I'm the green hat from Hawaii, University of Hawaii in Manoa. She's studying peace. No, she's not. She is in the second year of Naval ROTC. So she'll be a naval officer and be a nuclear sub person. So what? No doctor? Then my son wants to be a lawyer. Same thing in the world of AI. We're all freaking about it. So I freaked you out by giving the 2 examples. Things are getting a little better. There are tons of tools we had, but those tools, we could not do anything about it. So for those of you who are into IT, you talk about infrastructure. So people in the olden days would not like to go to the cloud. So my claim to fame, I'm the first guy to put Epic in the cloud. Got it? I'm not the only guy. Tons of people are. So then what happened is that people talk, we'll make money by app rationalization, decreasing the apps so we can make some money. Then somebody said, hey, we got this new technology known as generative AI, so they can make things faster, quicker. So then came a company, said, hey, if you're buying AI tools, I can tell you which AI works and which does not. Then came a third company, I just met one of them is here, says I can sit on top of all LLM search and tell you who's typing I'm depressed so that your psychiatrist can see that person. See that? So when he's asking, there are too many applications. This is the best time to live. This is the best time to be a technologist. And in the morning, I didn't want to disrupt my esteemed colleagues because they'll ask me hard questions. So what they were saying is that it's kind of a difficult. In fact, he said that you can you do as much coding as you want on the thing. You still need the brain. If you ever try to develop a software, the first question it asks, how do you know the architecture? So if you do not know anything about it, we still need Shahid, okay? So you still have a job
Right.
to tell about the architecture, but you can talk to it. In the olden days, when we had FIRE as the interoperability resources, right? We all talk about FIRE. My background, my claim to fame is in FIRE. I was the founding board member of DaVinci. I put it into the law in the Congress to make FIRE as an interoperability thing, right? Here's the sad part. FIRE cannot read PDF. Claude can. So Claude has a visual AI to look into it. Why am I saying this? Because if you're a doctor, you want to save time, you have to look at a colonoscopy result that's in PDF. You have to click it open, try to figure it out, spend 7 minutes on it, and then look at it. But if you have Claude deployed, you can see it immediately. See that? So he'll ask more questions. So I'll go through the summarization. Why the time has come to decrease the number of technology, why the time has come to use different components of AI safely and nicely. Because people talk about ethical AI, that's important, especially for a person like me. You have to have ethics, otherwise not going to work. But at the same time, it has to be safely deployed. That's also important. But the part that I'm trying to tell you, which, and I'll use that word, democratization of technology is for the first time possible for an 80-year-old, 7-year-old, for a person who knows nothing can know a lot about things. And in the olden days, it was YouTube. YouTube is still there. Instagram, uh, Snapchat, TikTok give you a 5 second of reel. But if you really want to learn, it takes you to YouTube. And if you want to watch YouTube, you can still ask Claude to get you the right YouTube.
No, that's great. And I think really, as you think about your role in a senior executive environment where you're all making decisions together, AI is probably one of the few technologies where every C-suite member can use it themselves before they can comment on it, right? Usually, whether it was an EHR or a lab system or whatever the heck the technology was that we were putting into place, the CEO literally usually had no idea. The board didn't know what was going on. The CFO pretended to know what was going on, and on and on and on. And it was mostly the IT team that got everything done and had to set up environments where they had to explain the technology, et cetera. But today, that board member has heard from his or her grandchild or has sat and used the AI. What has that done to make this technology more explainable? Does it make things worse, or does it make it better that democratization has come about so far for you?
Yeah, I think so. Instead of talking in general terms, like people say the world is a beautiful place, I don't do that. I will give you exact example, go through 4, 5, 6 things, you'll take notes, go home and curse me. That's okay. So uh, Shai just said a very important thing. Uh, when we were trying to understand deployment of technology, two things came to mind. One was ambient voice, so the doctors can be happy, but we are cheap people. So we thought if there is no ROI, we're not doing it. Second was revenue cycle. Everybody who talks about revenue cycle and the use of AI. So one is precision coding. So when people come, see a patient, and find out it's a diabetic patient, right? So what's the code for diabetes? E11, okay? So if anybody else, you can say that. But as they are looking at it and they find out that the patient has retinopathy, but I'm not looking at it, the AI is looking at it and is telling me that you just wrote that the patient has retinopathy. Jerry Hightech is sitting there. His name is Petratus, but his company is Hightech. So I've changed his name to Jerry Hightech. Makes it easier for me. So he'll laugh at me for CDI. All of a sudden, you have DART 351, that is the for retinopathy. If you add that, you get paid. Do you know that? So everybody is thinking that way. That's how we thought about it. Here is the thing that happened, suddenly clicked in us, that we have fair payment, but we also have clinical completeness. That means we know that this person has diabetic retinopathy. You know what retinopathy means? Pathy means pathology, bad thing. That's why Latin was important, right? My child learned it. Retinopathy, that means something has happened in your retina, which is the screen that you see. That is the first place the changes come for somebody who has diabetes. That means your vessels are going to, not good for you. Go see an eye doctor and please try to get your kidney taken care of too. All of a sudden, something that could be worse later on, all of is happening. That is the part where AI summarize it for you. So you make money, but you're also taking care of the patient. That linking was not there on Tuesday. It just came back on Sunday. What day is today? Tuesday.
Yeah. So in this era, when you look at well, all of us, especially if we want to sound smart, we always tell everybody about the risks, that this is going to work, but we have to be careful about this. This is going to work. We have to be careful about that. But we're making it sound as if there is some optionality here, that somehow some people can install AI and others won't. Of course, that's bullshit. Everybody's going to have it. The abundance is going to be there, and it's only going to grow. So given that growth, what can you actually do that is in your control as a senior executive to be able to, quote, put the guardrails in, or put and the best cybersecurity researchers in the field right now that are trying to secure AI have already given up. There is an entire multi-billion-dollar industry of cybersecurity companies trying to secure large language model, probabilistic AI, which in general is not possible, but those companies exist because we have to make it feel like it is possible. It is not, right? If you are deploying AI, there's a 100% likelihood you're going to kill somebody this year. 100%. Now, if you deploy it widely, that number goes up. But it's the same way. If you deploy humans, those humans are going to kill people. Right? So now the question for us as senior executives is, how much do we talk about it publicly and say that these systems are inevitable? They're going to be deployed, and they're for sure going to kill people. I've been in medical devices for a long time. That idea that we harm people and kill people is stuff that we've known every time I've built a device. So to me, it's a hard thing to talk about because it's not something you want to say that is normal, but it is. There's a website that the FDA has that has tens of thousands of events on there that have led to the death or harm to people, right? So we have to be very open about this and say, at the senior executive level, if AI is inevitable and there is no pulling back on it, what do we need to do in terms of acceptance of the risk of probabilistic AI?
I knew that he was going to ask me a hard question. I have no idea, but I can make something up.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I'm going towards it. So I talk like a doctor, but I am one. When patients come, the tyranny of immediateness is there. You know what tyranny of immediateness means?
Mm.
So I'll talk like a teacher. What the hell is wrong with me? So tyranny of immediateness means when somebody comes, we are paying attention to the immediate thing that they're taking. I have a stomach ache, I have a headache, my legs are gone, my dogs has left my house, things like that. So we pay attention to that and we forget about the chronic things that's happening in the person's life. So the use of AI and the control of AI, we all know that it can go rogue. There is no doubt about it. So how do we deploy the beautiful things that we like about it in a controlled environment? That's why you will see that institutions, you can't just go use ChatGPT, do whatever you feel like. Your cybersecurity guy, your IT guy, your CISO, your CDIO, they all freaked out about it. So control deployment and get the benefit out of it. So you saw I talked about money first. Not that I don't love money. I love money, lots of it. So I didn't love it before. I didn't know what it was till I had to pay the tuitions. So now I love it a lot. So having said that, uh, in a control environment, so the understanding of the chronic disease. Why am I saying all these things? Somebody comes up and you find out, all of a sudden you find out there are 15 things in diabetes that you have to look at, or you find out that there are 3 things that's important, but you saw that the person has not seen an eye doctor for 18 months. Like you would have never known that on because you were listening to the tummy ache and the glaucoma and other things. So the use of AI for that purpose deployed that actually reads through the entire chart faster than you can read, goes to the entire longitudinal study longer than you can read, faster than you can read, and pops up and say, hey, ask that person to go get the eyes checked. Because if you're diabetics have retinopathy, they have feet problems, they have kidney problems, they have a heart problem. It's a horrible disease. And here's the sad part, which I was going to talk to him after if he has a questions for me, is that how many of you have seen children in your life? Many of you, right? How many of you know that we have schools? We do, right? And how many of you have gotten call from the nurse's office that your child is sick? So they do keep a database in the school. How many children's hospitals are connected to their database? Zero. We are so dumb. And you want to cure diabetes, right? What I'm trying to tell you, if my father had diabetic, my mother had diabetes, swear to God, I'll have diabetes. 1 in 5 person in the United States has diabetes or pre-diabetes, right? So healthcare has to go a long way. We can say all those things, but I just told you interoperability is now working. From school to the pediatrician's office and to the children's hospital. So hey, go work on it, make money. If you design that, any one of you does that, please buy me a motorcycle. Because my wife will not let me have a motorcycle. So please keep it in your home so I can come and drive it and put it back. Okay. Similarly, the places to use AI is also to understand, like we have QHIN. You might have heard that name. We have a couple of other words for interoperability. To read the waveforms. Because without complete data, AI doesn't work. It's like, I don't know why my eldest eats sushi and the others don't. I love sushi. My wife doesn't eat fruits, but all my children eat blackberries, blueberries, the most expensive ones, they want organic. I just wash it and eat it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the question that he's asked is the nature of the question is that it puts the fear of God into us. But what I'm going to tell you right now, it'll blow your mind. I gave you the first one. Here's the second one. You cannot do jack about it. What that means is that rest of the world is going faster, quicker than you can. Searching, understanding, and the use of AI is ubiquitous. So either you get on the program or let somebody tell you what to do because they know everything about you. Like if you wanted to know about me, all you had to do is go to Claude and say, do you know Shafiq Rab? It also lies about things. It made me head of something very important, which I was not. But I say, hey, it looks good. So I said, can I upload it? No, you can't upload it. I'm like, come on, man, give me 5 stars. So the second answer is that we are supposed to talk about care gaps. So I'm going to tell you what that means in a minute. Does anybody know what care gap is? Okay, most of you do. If not, it's a gap in the care. What that really means is that people, how many people understand what case management is? Wow. I did not know the life of a case manager. I actually went, sat with case managers. Then I sat with the VP of Population Health. Do you know what is the most popular software we have in healthcare? Make a guess. Huh?
Excel.
Excellent. And what is the second most thing that we all use in healthcare? Fax. Every doctor's office works on fax. Do you know how case management works? They want to do something, they have to fax somewhere, or they have to get a fax back. Then they have to get a room or a SNF or a hotel or a place to live, and then they have to manage the pharmacy. Then they have to manage transportation, social determinants of health. So we somehow think that the case manager, after God, they are the angel who will cure everything with a wand. Doesn't work that way. If you automate all of that, one case manager who is to take care of 2 people can take care of 200 people. That's where AI comes in. Then you have GPS. I'm going to walk you through each example. And then you'll say, oh, wow, I never thought about that. Well, guess what? You have to live it. When they walk, when they go to places, we use it today. I'm not making this up. So it automatically tells you, this is your list. These are the people who need you the most. This will make the most money. And this is the best route. If you sit on an Uber, they use their own GPS. They don't give a crap if you have Waze. And it takes you from God knows different routes, but there's no traffic. Like, how did you do that? And I know how to get to my home from Newark Airport. I've been going there for 30 years, for God's sake. And they're taking me through a side road. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, the app is saying, Uber app, there was not a single soul on the road. I thought they were going to kidnap me. And nobody's going to pay ransom for me. I'll tell you this much. So I'm like, dude, can I join your gang? You know, much easier because my wife's not going to pay for you. What I'm trying to tell you, this methodology is being used for a long time. And what it does in the time when we have shortage of people, it becomes your best guide. It takes the facts, it does the OCR from the facts, it reads the facts, it summarizes the facts. After summarizing, it fills the form, emails it to the person that needs to know. And by the time she has gone through the 10 faxes, you already have the answers back. Wouldn't you like that? If anybody doesn't want to make a company on that, talk to me later on. And I need a motorcycle. Go ahead. Man.
Yeah. So 2 things. So the inevitability is going to create more and more abundance. So we have you've got the idea of agents in general. Just remember that AI is not going to start anything on its own. That's where the agents come in. The agents can start and continue things, and they sometimes will finish, sometimes they'll hand off, etc. So this abundance of tech, the inevitability of it, and the fact that we're going to have literally 100,000, if not millions of agents per enterprise doing this kind of work, does lead us to this core problem of whose risk it happens to be. So whenever new tech comes in, this is what I want you guys to hear is whenever new tech comes in, the risk is as soon as it's installed, it's transferred from me as a solution provider to Shafiq as the guy who's going to get blamed for everything. What do you feel like there's a discussion or agreement that needs to occur that would change that behavior or that risk allotment between institution and vendor?
On the advice of my attorney, I'll give you the answer. I don't hide from things. I have no fear anymore. I've lived my life and I'm very happy about it. Except for the young people, please work so somebody pays for my Medicaid. Don't work, I'm very upset. I'll give you one example, then I'll give the answer. And how we are doing it, and that may not be the only way to do it. We installed a software that reads CT scans and X-rays faster, quicker, right? Imagine somebody lives in rural New York, upstate. My friend was here. He used to work in Buffalo and places like that. Not that Buffalo is a rural area, but since we are in Manhattan, so
Everybody else is rural.
we have to talk nonsense. But anyway, what it does, if you train it to look at LVO, I had to throw a terminology, large vessel occlusion or obstruction. So when people get stroke, something stops the blood supply, right? So if the blood supply to the brain stops, nothing's going to happen except that slowly different areas of the brain are going to die. That means even if you survive 2 hours later, you'll have morbidity. Either you'll have paralysis, you can't speak, it'll become permanent. So the clue is that the sooner you find it, sooner you cut it open, sooner I live longer and my life becomes better. We used to have 180 minutes between finding out and the person lying on the table, right? What AI did, it read the X-ray faster than me, CT scan faster than me, raised it up to the neurologist and to the radiologist, and within 2 minutes, the patient was on the table, LVectomy happened. If the person is in a rural area, then the neurosurgeon from this area on a video telling them what to do. That's the beauty of it, right? So I have to tell you the good news. We made money, the patient was admitted, I can tell you the code for it, and all of a sudden, everything looks good, right? But here is the thing. So it took me a long time to understand this, and I wish I knew that before. Somebody said here governance. Why it's important? Because uh, artificial general intelligence, and as it is evolving, it is bringing new risks. So your compliance officer, your general counsel, your chief medical officer, your CEO, these are very important people to know what you are trying to do. Even though I just gave you I didn't make it up. We did save a lot of people's life. And stroke is a very bad thing, right? And also some members from the community, because most people don't use community members for reasons. But here, there are ethical dilemmas that will come up. And then they sit down together and we put something in. But before doing that, we don't do pilots anymore. We do prototypes. And in the prototype, here is the thing that Shahid was asking me, how do I save my butt or behind or whatever you want to call it, is that it's not a one-time job. You have to look at the code, if possible daily, whether the code has become decayed, or you have to look daily if any harm is happening. I call it a old Toyota Corolla in which we have to do fine tuning, the carburetor. I'm very old, so I can talk about it. And you have to have settings right. So same thing with the LLMs that are there, which are not discovering, but which are actually doing the work. So from autonomous to go forward, those kind of things are risky things. So there has to be a safety mechanism to unplug it. Not like after you unplugged it, it starts talking to you again. That'll be bad. So your answer is the question is that some we know, some we don't. And if there's a court case that will become a first precedent, that how it goes, and we'll find more about it. But that does not mean that we are not using it. So it's a defensive use of AI at this time. Some of us are going a little further out to find new cures, new drug discovery. So this is not going to kill us. But the moment you use it for sepsis, which we implemented, took it out, put it back again, took it out, we're putting it back again. I hope I did not chickened out with your question.
A little bit, but you gave us enough to continue the conversation. Which is, by the way, we're going to have about 9 minutes for questions. So keep your questions prepared. And right after this one, I'm going to call you in. What I wanted to do was to think a little bit more future, and future means a year, 2 years. So we've had large language models now for an entire 3.5 years. It seems like a long time, but it was only 3.5 years ago this quote ChatGPT moment occurred. The real world, I don't actually believe that in the clinical world you're going to have enormous amounts of clinical value purely from large language models, and we're going to have to get what are known as large world models, where the AI not only knows what I speak and what I've written, et cetera, but it knows that we're in a room with a particular temperature, that there are N number of chairs, Y number of people in here. And then when something goes wrong, the world model tells us what the situation was in a lot better way than what a language model would tell us about the past. Language models are almost always going to be good at the past, summarizing it and going forward. So before we open it up for questions from the audience, what do you think about this large world model? There was only a small group of people, the same way in 2017, there was a group of people working on large language models, and then we immediately had a ChatGPT moment, but there were thousands of people working on it beforehand. That's what's happening with large world models. Is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you 2 examples, and then I'll talk about the large model, and then I'll tell you what it is. First, I always ask questions. What is the difference between a master's degree and a PhD? The answer is that the person who gets the master's degree actually has to work it. The person who gets the PhD degree only knows where to get the answers from. That's why you get a PhD. You do a research and you keep on looking everywhere. The large world model, you can reference it. Somebody already did the hard work for you. So if you want to do something, because it already knows I'm sitting in this room, just to let you know, I'm not making this up. If somebody is following my GPS location, I also have global positioning, and it also knows how many people are Bluetooth connected to me. It'll tell you that, right? But immediate is the following. I just talked to a company known as Sunday. I talk to companies all the time. Like I talk to Jerry all the time. Neck up, neck up. They listen to sound only. 30 seconds. And with 30 seconds, they can tell you your respiratory rate, whether you are stressed, whether you are depressed, you need a cognitive function. They're already deploying it to Aramco, the Navy, the DoD. Think about it. Just by the sound of it, they can tell you where you are. Montefiore, I think, has implemented it. MGB, Massachusetts. I'm not from Massachusetts, but I work there. So I had to give a shout out. Somebody gave to Sunny School, so you have to balance it. You didn't hear a single cheer, did you? Nobody here. So those kind of use is there, but they have to be supported by clinical documentation and clinical support. But you can always do what everybody chickens out and say, this is a toy, or it is only for entertainment purposes. Swear to God, it's not for entertainment purposes. It actually has cognitive behavior in it. The question that he asked, which is the fundamental question, which all big companies are doing it. Google is doing it. Microsoft is doing it. OpenAI is doing it. My friends at AWS are doing it. And they're trying to accumulate mother of all knowledge in one place so they can look into the soul of humanity. So the answer to your question, and the thing that I'm thinking, it will keep on becoming larger and larger. It's not going to stop, because every time we question, it goes and understands. And when it becomes autotelic, it's going to go steal from somewhere. So it is like a PhD student. If you need to know something and somebody has already done that, you just go reference it, bring it back to you. That is the single most important purpose today that we understand. 3 weeks from today, if you talk to me, I'll be talking something else, because I evolve and regenerate every night.
Good answer. So questions from the audience? All right, somebody's got to make him squirm.
Okay, Nayan, for God's sake.
Greg will give Greg the chance, and then we'll come up.
I came here because Megan made me, okay?
All right, so we've been talking about AI obviously for a while, and have you ever had to try to convince or bribe a CFO to try to spend on something of a big tech stack versus that they didn't understand? What did you were challenged with, whether it's at Tufts or anywhere else?
So I've been very lucky now in all my life. I've worked with phenomenal CFOs. We've always been friends, and they have taught me how to do a Excel sheet. They have also taught me how to do budget. And they have also taught me a very important lesson. I do not participate in any tech that does not have a 4-time ROI. If it does not, I'm not going to do it. Because in healthcare, we only give, give, give. And the world takes, takes, and takes. Our Medicare cost has gone down, our Medicaid has gone down, our commercial payer has gone down. The only thing left is that we are doing joint venturing and other things. So money is tight. And to do anything, it has to do patient safety, it has to make our healthcare systems efficient, and it has to make the lives of the people who work there better. We need our workers to be happy too. And our workers mean not only doctors and nurses, but other staff. So to answer your question, every time that happens, what I'm trying to do is take money out of infrastructure, take money out of IT that we have spent. Look what we got. In the morning, somebody talked about all the things we have we deployed it correctly? If you don't need it, take it out. Because the time has come to, as my father used to say, tighten your belt and do that. So the answer to your question, we work together in the world with our CFOs, and we also seek counsel, because in the world that's what governance is also there, but we also rely on each other and we also criticize on each other. At the same time, just between you and me, every CFO for their revenue cycle wants AI tomorrow. No, today or yesterday. That's the right word. Yesterday. So it's not that they don't want it, because it generates cash and everybody loves cash.
Great. Great.
There's been a lot of discussion about the need for governance in AI. There is now, I think as of this month, an ANSI standard that's been approved for AI in healthcare management, right? So hospitals, health systems. What is your position around, governance and the structures, and is that really going to be enough to protect or at least reduce risk?
So I'm going to give you a very straightforward answer. We are dumb people. Let me tell you why. If you were alive during the time, did you see the commercial about fax, in which there is a dinosaur and you could have faxed it or foxed it or something? We're trying to govern things that first we don't understand completely. Second, we're trying to govern it with today's knowledge. People who leave room to continuously improve and continuously make it better will succeed. This is the first time in our lifetime that even people like me who are very provocative and very forward thinking, even I'm afraid that I don't have a full grasp of it. And every day I think I got there. Like whenever I try to make the ends move, somebody moves the end. So ANSI standard is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm not challenging them. Standards are good, but what I'm requesting for people is to understand this, that this will change, and it changes every day, every hour. It's not that it does not change. Like in the olden days, we used to change like every 10 years. Like when we are younger, we remember the people who are older. And older people, when they see us, oh my God, you become very tall. What do you think? I'll stay the same size? No. So, but the speed is exponential. That's the caution I have, because people are judging us and people sit on it and they judge us by today's metrics. This is something, for the first time, I'm telling you, I have no clue how to govern it. No clue. Other than figuring out that somehow we become smarter than it. And thank God AI listens to us. The other day I yelled at Gemini. I literally yelled at it because I wanted the output in PowerPoint and in Word. Oh, I can't do it in Word. I can give you a Python. You can edit, copy, and paste it, or you can just see what it is. So I said, Claude just did it for me. So I don't like you anymore. And then she apologized, or he apologized, whatever the case was. And I just went to Claude and I ran it, and I just got my PowerPoint and got my Word. And then I said, do you remember the other 3 files I put in? Yes, I do, in the memory. Then I realized that if you work in Claude in the same sequence, well, it becomes slower because everything is in the same memory. So you got to learn to start all over again. So as we are learning, it's not cheap either. It's not $20 a month. I pay $219 a month because I'm crazy, right? So it's also not affordable. Nobody asked me that question. And I'm going to tell you, it is creating the biggest haves and have-nots. The biggest disparity ever for people who have access to it. So maybe I'll just go to a public library and teach there. But I'm trying to tell you, so when you do all these things, standards and other things, just be careful, because how much does this cost? Verizon gives it to you for free, or T-Mobile get 5, and you go there and they say, no, you have to pay for the line. And then you find out, no, it's $25. No, all of a sudden it's $1,500.
All right. Well, you saw why we got him right after lunch, right? To get everybody awake, ready to roll. Give him a big round of applause. We have the next panel coming up.